Well, for the 307th time in the last 5 years, welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy early anniversary. What's up, Travis and Alicia and Eric joining us here in the War Room tonight. If you're watching on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch, or YouTube, coming up this Friday, March 14th, we will be commemorating our 5th anniversary joining each other here in the War Room, which is just insane. So if you're just I'm showing up on your algorithm right now and you're like, who the hell is that purple-haired girl and why are there dogs running all over the place? My name is Mistress Carrie. I'm a podcast host, a radio DJ, and this is the War Room, where we started getting together on March 14th of 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. And basically, we started hanging out in here for a couple of reasons. One, this is where all the military memorabilia is from my trips overseas, from my family's lineage in the military, but it's also where the bar is. And you'll remember on March 14th of 2020, things were getting squirrely and we all needed a drink. And so this Friday marks 5 years of Cocktails in the War Room. Now, I had thought about having a big 5th anniversary event on Friday night, but it just so happens that another anniversary is getting celebrated in Boston that night. The guys from Disturbed are bringing their Sickness 25th anniversary tour to Boston on Friday night with Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Sevendust. I could not miss that party. I got too many friends on that tour. So that is why we are not getting together on Friday night to do something, because I am going to be at the TD Garden cheering on so many of my friends on what is one of the biggest tours they have all been on. So that's why. Got to say what's up to April. Joshua saying 5 fucking years, no way in hell. Listen, I can't believe it either. It doesn't make any sense to me that we have been hanging out in this room for 5 years and that this is episode 307. Now, for anybody that joined the War Room later, the first 80 shows, we did 80 nights in a row without missing a night. Every single night at 8:30, we got together. It got to the point after a while where we had to have mocktails in the War Room because we were drinking too much, as a lot of people were during the height of the pandemic. And then that summer, when we launched MistressCarrie.com, when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show. But the first 80 shows were just us every single night writing out whatever craziness was going on in the world. And there was a lot at the time. Matter of fact, the world hasn't gotten much less crazy since then. But what's up, George? Watching on Instagram, Alicia says, I need tickets to Disturbed. The show has been sold out. I have been trying to get extra tickets. I will tell you how you can win some coming up on the show. But yeah, people are scrambling for these Disturbed tickets. April is on Instagram. Josh says, sangria was in full effect. Oh yeah, Fernandez's special sangria got me through the pandemic. Seriously, absolutely. Eric says, hold on. I have to go. Wait, hold on. Your comment got cut off here. He said, hold on. I have to go to the basement because my dad is blasting Lady Gaga's new album, Mayhem. Marcy says 5 years. Wow. Bish says, hey, sorry I'm late. Carol says, what's up, everyone? Mr. Cole says, where do you park for the garden? Isn't it crazy to get out of? Well, I have to be down there super early. If you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, I'm going to be taking you backstage at the Disturbed show at the Garden because I'm going to be sitting down with the guys from Disturbed and the guys from 3 Days Grace before the show. So you can definitely expect some bonus stuff coming on the podcast. And I'm going to be roaming around the arena. So if you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you can expect a backstage tour of Disturbed coming up Friday night and into the weekend. Kevin says, happy 311 day. So yeah, if you're a 311 fan, happy 311 day. If you are a Marine rifleman, happy 0311 day. I know there's a lot of you guys in the War Room tonight. Tracy says she was legless. Oh my God, that's sangria. I was out of my mind legless. Better late than never, says Betty. Carol, what's up? Lisa says, hello, War Room. MC turned me on to sangria, says Betty. Let me tell you, sangria is a life-changing beverage. Getting it from a master sangria aficionado like Fernandez It's on a whole other level. Kevin says Semper Fi on Instagram. Happy anniversary to us, says Tracy. Good evening, Carrie and War Room friends, says Dawn. So yeah, I can't believe that it's been 5 years this week. And when I really started thinking about it, like as I was typing it out for the show tonight, I was like, holy crap, like it really has been 5 years. And I'm one of those people that looks at like lengths of time, like that's a band's album cycle twice. Like writing the record, releasing a record, touring on the record, taking time off, writing the record, releasing the record, touring the record. Like that's what a band does in 5 years. If your kid was in the 8th grade when we started hanging out here in the War Room, you're getting ready for their graduation. Like when you look at it like that, we had Wednesday's 2nd birthday party here in the War Room. And now look at how gray she is, right? My beautiful girl. She's only 7, but we had our 2nd birthday party here in the War Room. And there were like 10,000 people that joined me for an online birthday party for my dog. If that doesn't explain how bored, no offense, Wednesday, we were during the pandemic, that like 10,000 people joined me for a birthday party for my dog, nothing will explain it. Remember all of those presents you got for your birthday, Wednesday? We're going to have a 1 birthday party for you Friday this summer, huh? Yeah. So the dogs are exhausted today. I'm just letting you know that, okay, I'm sorry I stopped petting you. So I don't know about you guys, but all of these snow and ice storms that we got kind of back to back to back made my backyard, where I normally run the dogs around every day, made it impassable. Like I could not get back there with the dogs. I could not get them to run around back there. And now you can finally walk on the grass in my backyard. So I took the pugs in the backyard today, twice, once in the morning and once late in the afternoon, and just ran them around, let them chase each other and wrestle. Friday was chasing pine cones that I was tossing around the yard, and they ran. I mean, I exercise them every day, but this was like the first time that they were like reckless abandon, running like they normally do in the grass every day. But it's the first time they were able to do it in a good long while. And the dogs are assed out. Like they are, okay, I will pet you some more. Wednesday's scratching me because she wants me to keep petting her. Hold on, let me turn the pug cam on so you guys can see the dogs while we're talking about how much exercise that you guys got, right? You got so much exercise. You're so tired. Friday's like, I can't keep my eyes open. I'm so tired, aren't you? I know. Look at your sweet face, girls. For anybody that's new to the War Room, this is Friday. She's the newest member of the family. We got her in early October. And this is Wednesday, who has been my co-host through all 307 episodes, except when we took the show on the road. Last week, we had to do the show in MCHQ, and I can't wait to tell you guys this story. So last week, I was having all kinds of technical problems, and I was on the air and did not have time to like figure things out. I literally got off the air and had to start the show and just had no time to move the show up into the War Room. But you guys have known that in the past, I've had issues with the War Room computer, and I have been trying to figure it out. So yesterday I was like, I'm getting to the bottom of this, or I'm getting a new War Room computer. It has to happen. I can't deal with all of these issues anymore, right? So I called tech support. I was on the phone with Cece from tech support for 3 hours. The software that runs the War Room, that lets me put the graphics and the funny pug pictures and all of that stuff on your screen, for some reason, the software was duplicating the shows and storing them on a folder on the drive of this computer, and we couldn't find it. But there was 462 gigs of memory eaten up by a folder we couldn't find on the computer. And that is what was making all of the freaking problems of the computer happen. And Cece was like, I am in this with you. We are at war. We are going to defeat this enemy. I don't care how long it takes. And I was like, Cece, I love you. And it took 3 hours. We updated the iOS. We updated all of the software. We literally went through line by line of the drive and we could not figure it out. Come to find out, there was a hidden folder on my computer that I didn't know was there. And all of that memory was eaten up by repetitive, redundant folders on that drive. Travis says Windows or Mac. It's a Mac. And I was like, I can't figure this out, but like my drive is going to freeze. Like there's so much going on my drive and I could not figure out why my machine wasn't functioning. Cece figured it out. So not only are we hitting our 5-year anniversary, but Cece de-herped my computer yesterday, which means the war room is running flawlessly. Eric says, Walter, get the tech support. Oh my God, seriously. What's up, Jason, joining us on Facebook? Was she from India? No, she was in Atlanta. Cece, like, monuments and statues should be erected in her honor because she was unbelievable. Jessica says, hey, Mistress Carrie, sorry I'm late. Rachel says, seriously? Shane says, Steve Jobs is laughing. I'm sure he is. Look, if I were computer smart, if I were savvy, if I had a computer science degree, if I were one of those people, I would not be a radio DJ. I would be in IT where they could never fire me because I'd be the only people that do not get fired in radio are the engineers and the IT people because they're the only ones that know how everything works. I would be in IT if I were smart enough, but I'm not. So I had to rely on Cece. Cece fixed the problem. She de-herped. Yes, maybe I should put that in the dictionary. For you, if you're new to the War Room, by the way, over the last 5 years, we have collected quite a list of inside jokes, terms, references, and so we made a whole dictionary of them, and they're linked at mistresscarrie.com in the Cocktails in the War Room section. You better knock on wood, says Shane Caulfield. I am right now. Tracy says, what's up, Travis? Most of them are, it's a joke, lighten up. No, Cece was from Atlanta. Her and I were actually talking. She's still upset about the Super Bowl, just FYI, because of course you know me. I had to bring that up. Cece should get a Carrie sweatshirt. She 100% should. I already sent the customer service. You know, my husband's one of those people that if he ever gets asked if he'd answer a few questions on a customer service survey, he always says yes. And so when I was on hold waiting for customer service, they were like, would you be interested in answering a few short questions after your tech support call? Well, a few short questions 3 hours later after I was on the phone with Cece for 3 hours, and I raved about her because she deserves a freaking raise. Ed says, is it true that you're working for 99.3? So if you're talking about in Western Mass, yeah. Coming up in like 2 minutes, I will run down all the radio stations that you can hear me on. So if you're just joining me here in the War Room because I showed up on your Facebook or your Instagram or on your YouTube and you're like, wait, is that the same Mistress Carrie from the radio? I miss her on the radio, which a lot of people say. I'm on the radio. I'm all over the radio. So there's plenty of places that you can listen. What's a war room, says Charmed Heater? Well, in government terms, the war room is like where you go to like plan like an invasion. Military friends that are here in the comments, tell them what the war room is. So when I bought this house, the doctor that I bought the house from, this was his like study. This was his library. It's where all of his medical books were. It's where he drank his wine. And so when I bought the house, I was like, I'm not really a library or like study person. And so my friends were like, well, what are you going to call this room? And because of all of the military memorabilia that I have, hello, Friday, where are you? Oh, there you are, over there. Because of all of the military stuff that I brought back from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan, because of all the photos I have of generations of my family serving in the military, all of the things that I have been honored to be gifted over the years for all of my work with the military, and there's a giant bar built into the wall. We were like, we need to call this room the War Room. And so that's what we've called it for the last 15 years. And then 5 years ago, when the pandemic hit, I just put up online, join me for a cocktail in the War Room, because when friends come to my house, we eat dinner in the dining room or in the kitchen, depending on where we're going to eat, how many people are here. But we always end up in the War Room having a drink. There's a nice big couch here. There's comfy chairs. But it's one of those rooms that is just filled with interesting knick-knacky things to make conversation. And because so many of my friends, and obviously so many of my husband's friends, are military related, there's just shelves of little trinkets, because I have a rule in the house that the first time you come to the War Room, you're a guest. And, everybody looks through the shelves and looks at all of the mission coins that I have, and all of the pictures and all of the kind of things that are on the walls. But the next time you come to the War Room, you have to bring something to leave behind. So there's shell casings, there's uniform patches, there's pictures, there's just all of these things that people have left here over the last 15 years. And so the built-in shelves in the wall are just filled with personal items. There's compasses, there's different awards that I've been given, there's a ton of pictures, there's all kinds of memorabilia, programs from military events that I've attended, prayer cards from military funerals that I've gone to, a bunch of different framed pictures, some souvenirs that I've brought from my trips overseas, different awards and plaques and things that I've been given. But it's just like this collection of stuff. And so whenever people come over to the house, they spend usually a drink's worth of time. They come in here for a drink, and then they just start looking at the walls. And it takes them a full drink to kind of make their way around the room. And then they're like, all right, I'll make another drink and then I'll sit down. So this room has always been like the center of any kind of social gathering that I have that's not like family related. The family has seen all of this stuff because the family is part of a lot of this stuff. But the War Room has just always been a place where my friends have come to hang out. And so the fact that you guys for the last 5 years have been part of kind of the history of this room. So that's why we call it the War Room, is kind of, it's just that place. And during those days of the pandemic, when the show was mobile, like literally on my phone, when I'd be live streaming on my cell phone, I took you guys around in some of those early episodes and showed you guys different things that were here. The problem is there's a lot of personal stuff here too. There's a lot of family stuff. There's photos that can't be shared on the internet that are up on the walls that can't be photographed. And so when people are here, we try not to take a lot of pictures in here because of a lot of the things that are in this room. And things that I've been gifted. Like there's a big ISIS flag in here. Not because I'm a member of ISIS, but because somebody that I know brought it back for me. So there's stuff in here that if you just took a picture of it, you'd be like, what is that? But obviously, when you come in here and I tell you the stories about where this stuff came from, that's why. On Instagram, I love it, especially coming from a military family. Happy springy on birthday, Keith. Jonathan, it's not Keith's on birthday yet. You got to wait until later on in the show. Yeah, the cell phone era. Yeah, there's definitely, there's little Motorola cell phones from overseas. I've told you guys some of the stories, especially when I drank Fernandez's sangria. I told you guys a lot of the stories of stuff that's here in the War Room. But so it's become a thing. Like everybody that knows me, like personal friends of my husband's, they all know about the War Room. The fact that you guys are all part of it, the fact that I'm wearing my OG War Room t-shirt tonight to commemorate our anniversary. The fact that there's War Room gear, the fact that it's become such a thing that you guys are all part of it now is pretty amazing. But for 10 years, the War Room was just a room in the house that people used to hang out and drink in. It's still that, but the last 5 years, the amount of people that drink in the War Room is exponentially larger. Do you need an AK stock cutoff from Iraq? I always need whatever people want to have me have in the War Room, 100%. The blueberry cobbler story, sangria inspired, says Tracy. Oh, trust me, I still hear about the blueberry cobbler constantly. Sangria inspired for sure. Jessica says, am I late? You can never be late. Bitch, stop talking about my boobs. I was just showing you my t-shirt. I got my t-shirt, says Joshua. So listen, guys, think about it. That original stretch of shows, we sold almost 1,000 t-shirts for charity that we mailed during the height of the pandemic out of my dining room. And those OG War Room shirts, that's a lot of shirts. I mean, since then, obviously, we've sold way more shirts than that when I launched my online store and all of that. But like, when I think back to those, first 6 months of the War Room, those first 80 shows and then some, when we launched the podcast, we launched the website, we were making announcements like, look, Cocktails in the War Room has a graphic now. Look, we have lights now. Like, the show started literally from my cell phone and has grown into something that people ask me about no matter where I go. Bands ask me about it. I will tell you that with all of the upgrades to the show computer, one of the things we're trying to do is use the upgrade via Zoom so that I can start bringing more guests in on the show via Zoom. So that's part of the expansion plan for the War Room this year. And we're also, especially now that I've been expanding with the radio shows, hoping to be able to take the War Room out on the road a little bit more. We'll see how that happens. My OG War Room shirt is my gym shirt now. That's fantastic. How were the biscotti? And does Cece need some? Carol, look, when you guys send me homemade anything, the anise toast, those pistachio biscotti, they're so freaking good. And I have a cookie jar in my kitchen that are just for the anise toast cookies and the pistachio biscottis. And so when my Aunt Joan was here this morning and she was like, is that cookie jar in the kitchen on the counter? Because the family knows that when I get a package from you guys that it goes in the cookie jar in the kitchen. And so trust me, everybody knows. Tracy says, you have a website and a store? Yes, Tracy, go to mistresscarrie.com. There's a whole store loaded with stuff. Zoom guests would be awesome, says Louise. The software that runs the show now has a mechanism to bring in Zoom. I'm just trying to work out, because I had to update the iOS on the computer, and then I had to update the software, and we kind of had to de-herpy the whole computer. We're just trying to get the Zoom mechanism to work. That's a whole other separate tech support that I have to go through the software company, but I am working on it. So blueberry cobbler iced coffee is at Dunk, says Dina. It's delicious. My mean dog's name is Cece, says Shane. Well, listen, the Cece that helped me with the computer was not mean at all. What's up, Sean, on Instagram? Carrie, can you say what's up to Tracy on Instagram? Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Tracy? Does Cece need some? Carol, I wish I had Cece's address because I would tell you to send it to her. She was lovely. She was a delight. I hope you're joking. Tons of merch out there. Oh, there is tons of merch out there for sure. Yes, tons of it. Frickin' Apple machines, always annoying. I very rarely have issues, and it was not the computer's fault. It was the software that runs the show's fault. It created this folder, and it was taking every graphic, every image, everything for the last 5 years worth of War Rooms. Since I took the show from my cell phone to this, which is episode 80. So from episode 80 to episode 307, every graphic, every slide, everything on every episode was not only saved in this folder, but was multiplying. It was duplicating itself. It was like AI, like it was learning. Like, I'm surprised the War Room computer wasn't planning on getting up in the middle of the night and killing me. 462 gigs of stuff was in that folder. As we were deleting stuff, we were just watching the thing. And the computer was getting faster and it was getting faster. And it was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And then because I was like, I don't understand. I don't use this computer for anything but the War Room. It's the only thing it does. And so every week I would go to build the show and start the show. And I couldn't figure out why there was more stuff on the computer. Like, I had downloaded a bunch of stuff on it, which I didn't. So I could not figure out why it wasn't working. Cece, you'll never get the address of tech support people. That is top secret stuff, says Voorhees. I know, and I wish. I literally would send her a fruit basket and an edible arrangement and some of Carol's pistachio biscottis, because she was just so freaking awesome. And when she finally figured it out, there was some weird code that we had to type in that like exposed hidden folders. It was some back end tech support trick voodoo thing that they do. And all of a sudden we found this folder. And so we clicked on it to get the data info. And she goes, oh, there it is right there. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. It was insane. I don't know where the setting is, but I need to get with the tech support people and figure it out. So, but yeah. Jessica says, I will see you on Friday. Bish says, she said, hard drive. Did you figure out why it was duplicating and how to stop it? That's a different tech support call. At least I've got so much memory on this machine now. I've got time to figure it out. Yesterday literally was 3 hours of constant tech support. That's about as many hours as I'm willing to sacrifice in 1 week to IT issues. So I'm going to make an appointment with tech support with the software. I'm going to figure it all out. I'm going to get the Zoom up and running on it, and then we'll be good to go. But it's a new era here in the War Room because the machine is deherpied for sure. Trina says, what's up, Mistress Carrie? Hello, Friday. Hello, Wednesday and War Room family. So there you go. So that's all of the stuff I wanted to tell you about with the computer. I want to thank you guys for 5 amazing years. We literally have been getting together for 5 years here in the War Room. And over the course of those 5 years, you have seen Wednesday take like 306 naps. And now Friday's over here getting ready to take a nap as well. All right, I promised you guys that I would let you guys know all of the different places that you can hear me on the radio, because I am constantly getting messages through the studio button at mistresscarrie.com. Like, I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. Is this the same Mistress Carrie I grew up listening to? Yes. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3 on 98 Rock, Charleston's best rock. You can go to my98rock.com. You can download the My 98 Rock app, and you can stream the station from anywhere. We have our big rescheduled event with Lizzie and Joe from Hailstorm coming back to Charleston on April 21st. There's buttons. There's press releases. All the radio stuff is up at mistresscarrie.com. You can also listen to me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 100 FM The Pike in central Massachusetts out of Worcester. You can go to pikefm.com, but you can hear me every weekday from 3 to 7. You can also download the free Pike app, and we have got a lot of events that are happening. Mr. C just walked in the room. The dogs weren't having it. The summer kickoff party is happening June 1st with Tesla at Indian Ranch. Hairfest 2025 is already scheduled and on sale. And this year is the first year of Grunge Fest with the Pike. It's going to be a ton of tribute bands. Tickets are on sale for all of these 3 at Indian Ranch in Webster, and they are all up on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. You can also listen to me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can go to 1063thebone.com, stream the station. You can download the Bone app. By the way, on the Pike, Coming up on Thursday, I have Disturbed tickets to give away. Mike Shue has got Disturbed tickets to give away. Chuck Perks has got Disturbed tickets to give away for the big show on Friday at the TD Garden. On Thursday afternoon on 106.3 The Bone, I have a 4-pack of tickets to see Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Sevendust at the TD Garden. Sold out Sickness 25th Anniversary Tour. These tickets up for grabs Thursday afternoon. And yes, someone was asking me earlier, are you on 99.3 in Springfield? Yes. Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield. I started on Valentine's Day mornings with the Mistress. You can hear me from 6 to 10 every weekday morning. You can go to laser993.com and you can also download the free Laser app. And Thursday morning between 6 and 10 a.m., I'm going to give away a 4-pack of tickets to see Disturbed Friday night at the TD Garden. So lots of Disturbed tickets last minute for the sold out show on Friday. It's going to be an absolute blast. And if you want to hang out in person, I want to remind you guys that the next Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch is coming up on March 22nd. It's coming up fast, like 11 days from now, next weekend. Next Saturday, the Stone Temple Posers are going to do the Stone Temple Pilots Unplugged set at City Winery Boston. Doors open at 11 a.m. You can start drinking, start ordering food. Music starts at noon. All you got to do is go to the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The link to get the tickets is right there. Let's recap last week's podcast episode. A ton of feedback on this episode because Art Alexakis from Everclear talked a lot about having to evacuate the LA wildfires. And I thought he brought to light something really interesting where I think a lot of people like me asked him, did your house survive? And I think when someone says yes, you're like, oh, okay, good. But what he has been dealing with the last 2 months is that his house structure survived, but his entire yard burned, his neighborhood burned. The fire skipped around because of the wind. So some of the houses in his neighborhood survived, some didn't. But what happened is his house was ruined inside because of the smoke. And so he talks about how he's been living in a hotel with his family and his dogs for 2 months, how ServPro's been in there because they've had to get all of the soot out of there, that all of the furniture was ruined, all of the carpets were ruined, just because of the smoke. And he talked all about the Pasadena and Altadena fire departments and how they saved his home, how he had to evacuate, how the wind was so strong. His studio is like 1.5 miles from his house. Originally, they evacuated to his studio, but the wind was so bad, upwards of 100 miles an hour, which really spread those wildfires, that they were like, we're not safe here at the studio either. And so he evacuated like 2.5 hours to Palm Springs, where his mother-in-law lives, because they had to outrun the fire. And one of the things we talked about in the episode last week, and I kind of said it jokingly, but everyone has had that conversation. Like, your house is on fire, what do you grab? Obviously, like your kids and your animals and your like wife or husband or whatever. But then what do you grab? And he was joking about how your brain like panics in that moment. He was like, I grabbed my computer and like a toothbrush. He's like, the guitar that I wrote all the Everclear hits on was right there and I didn't even think to grab it. Thankfully, the guitar survived. But he's like, you just don't think clearly when something like that's happening. And he said the firefighters were there and they were like, sir, your yard is on fire. If you don't go now, you're not getting out. And he looked outside and all he saw was orange glow because his fence was on fire. He had like an 80-year-old oak tree in his yard that was on fire. And that, you know, when you see these massive fires, when you see these massive tornado like destruction paths, that's one of the things that you notice is it's not just the structures that are gone, but it's all of the mature trees. Like, it's just like everything is wiped out. And so he's talking about how a lot of the houses in his neighborhood are completely gone. The houses that remain, there is some damage, but he's like, everybody's fences are gone, everybody's trees are gone. Like, all of that stuff needs to be replanted, and it's going to take years before those neighborhoods even start to kind of look normal again. So if you haven't listened to it, episode 248 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, featuring Art Alexakis from Everclear. His story about Woodstock 99 is also hilarious. And he also invented a new word, aphrodisiacus, which is like the best hashtag ever. So listen to this episode. It's great. But him talking about the fires, it's a really, really compelling episode if you haven't listened to it yet. Bish says it's almost like you want to demolish it at that point. He's just so grateful that his house is still there. He's like, we can repaint it. We can get new furniture and get new carpets. He's like, but we were so lucky. He goes, we were expecting our house to not be there. Like we were expecting to just see the foundation sitting there and our chimney sitting there when we got back. He goes, we couldn't believe when we pulled down the street that our house was still standing. We just couldn't believe it. Let's see. Sean says, love you, mistress. You're awesome. Also, southern states are getting fires like the Carolinas, Kentucky, and the floods too. That's the thing, is that these issues, I mean, obviously the flooding in Western North Carolina last year, just all of these things, there's the people that lose everything, right? When you see those massive tornadoes and it just like everything is gone. But then there's the people that like their house is kind of destroyed, but not really. I never even thought about the house being fine, but everything inside being destroyed because of the smoke. Like, I just didn't even think about that. It's like, oh, your house is good, but your house isn't like sealed like a vacuum. So of course, soot and all of that stuff is going to get in there. And he jokes about how him and his wife and his teenage daughter and the dogs have been living in a hotel. And if you had a 17-year-old daughter that has been living in a hotel for months with room service and maids, he's like, she's never going to want to leave. And I'm like, yeah, probably not. Why would she want to leave? Eric says, we have 9 family members here due to the fire destruction in Pasadena. They keep on trying to give us money for food, and we keep on giving it back to them. Look, it's an amazing thing to be able to take care of family members in need like that. You guys know last year that I had a family member staying with me at the house because their house, they found out, was riddled with mold. And they found out 3 weeks after they brought a newborn baby home. And the insurance company wanted to put them up in a hotel that wouldn't let them have their dog. And it was 30 minutes from their work, and they had a newborn baby. And so they called and they were like, my cousin called me in tears and she was like, I hate to ask you, because my mom's apartment was empty because my mom had at that point moved into a facility because her disease had progressed to the point where we couldn't take care of her at home anymore. She wasn't safe. And my cousin was like, can I please come and use your mom's apartment? And to be able to help family in that way, it, you know, when there's a disaster of some kind, it's a really special thing. And if you're able to help people in a time like in their lowest moment, whether it's family, whether it's friends, you know, even if it's just watching their dog so that they know where that their dog is okay. There are so many people that are dealing with these just massive destructive weather events that if you can help people like that, that's a really special thing. Sean says, my mom is with the Red Cross and they are angels. Irish says, 94th MP Company reporting for duty. What's up? Bish says, if you can afford it. Well, look, yeah, if you can afford it, obviously. But even if you can't afford it, like, you just figure it out. It's like, okay, we're eating bologna sandwiches and ramen noodles and we're sleeping on the floor, but at least the family has a place to go. Like, what do you do? Where do you go? And so it forces, like Art obviously is living in a hotel. He's a rock star, but his insurance company, and he talked about it in the episode that he's lucky that he has good insurance because this stuff is getting taken care of. So Tracy says, family first. It was Wednesday and the baby. Oh my God, seriously. Like Wednesday and the baby all day long, every day. Now, by the way, the baby's a toddler and he's walking and talking. And when I need a pug sitter, they pug sit for me sometimes. So even if it's just, hey, I'm going to be out, you know, more than a few hours. Can you swing by the house and let the dogs out for me? And he's like, Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, it's too freaking cute. I can't even deal with it. So that was last week's podcast episode. Obviously, this week with the big Sickness 25th anniversary show on Friday night at the TD Garden, I had to get one of my oldest friends in music, LeJean Witherspoon from Sevendust, who has joined us here in the War Room in the past, but he's never done the podcast. I've had John Connolly, I've had Clint Lowry, I've had Morgan Rose, and now LeJean did an after action report because he was on the War Room with us during the pandemic. But I had LJ on the podcast this week to talk about the new music that he is working on as a solo artist, to talk about the Sevendust music that the band is working on right now, to talk about performing Frank Sinatra standards with Mark Tremonti around the holidays, and of course to talk about the band's longstanding friendship with Disturbed, the band's longstanding friendship with 3 Days Grace, and just how amazing this 25th anniversary Sickness tour is. So the new episode 249 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, featuring LeJean Witherspoon from Sevendust, goes live at midnight tonight. If you listen to the podcast, you get new episodes every Wednesday, but every Monday through Friday, you also get sit rep episodes. So it's rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, and that's Monday through Friday. There is also an abbreviated version of the sit rep that you can hear all day on 106.3 The Bone. And starting on Monday, the sit rep is also going to be on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield. So the sit rep is also there on the radio to keep you up to date with tour announcements, album releases, just all of the goings on in music. So you can hear the full sit rep on the podcast, the shortened sit reps on the radio. There's a lot going on with the Mistress Carrie podcast. If you're wondering where you can listen to it, the Mistress Carrie podcast is basically available at any podcast outlet, any app where you get your podcast. You can listen to the audio on YouTube. And of course, you can just always go to mistresscarrie.com, find the episode you want to listen to, and just click play. It's that easy for you. Eric says, be the naughty auntie. Oh God, wait, hold on. Your comment got cut off. Be the naughty auntie and tell the kid to swear. Listen, that's a family joke because our grandfather's cousins taught me how to say shit when I was a little kid because I was the first grandchild on my side of the family. So that's a long running joke with the family, is that there's always family members teaching you how to say bad words. It's been happening for generations. It's hilarious. So it's funny that you brought that up because it's definitely something that we do. 149 countries. We have been holding strong at 149 countries for quite a while. I have been waiting for the 150th country and it has not showed up yet. So fingers crossed, eventually we get to 150 countries. But right now we're at 149 and I am very grateful for all 149 of you. Hello, Friday. If you are celebrating your birthday today, you're sharing your birthday with Vinnie Paul from Pantera. And you are also sharing it with Benji and Joel Madden from Good Charlotte. And of course, I had to put the War Room up there because our birthday is on Friday. Right? Right? Is it our birthday on Friday, 5, for the War Room? You're not going to be 1 till June. You're still a baby, aren't you? Yes. Yes, you are. You're still a baby. All right, so happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you if it's your birthday today. Okay, well, let's talk about some music. So the Back to the Beginning final Black Sabbath show, the final Ozzy show, producer and guitarist Andrew Watt, that's produced Ozzy's last 2 solo albums, says that Ozzy's back in the gym, that he is working to build up his strength and stamina, but that his voice sounds better than ever. Also, Jason Momoa is going to host the event, and Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, is going to be the musical director. So, am I allowed to say that? Husband? Am I allowed? Hold on. I never know what's allowed and what's not. Happy 16th birthday to my bonus son, Hank. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say that out loud in public or not. So my bonus son turned 16 today. So Vinnie Paul, Joel and Benji Madden, Hank, happy birthday. I can't believe he's 16. Mr. C just came in and like held up a little sign like, I didn't want to give up stuff I wasn't allowed to say. So there you go. All right. So there you go. Thank you for the birthday wishes for my bonus son. I appreciate it. Mr. C says yes, says Mr. Cole. Jessica, I don't know. Yeah, here's the deal. They're 100% going to stream this thing because they're doing it to raise money for charity. There's no way they're getting all of these bands together and they're only going to make the money off the ticket sales and the merch. I guarantee you they're going to make a streaming announcement and that they're going to sell merch online and sell tickets to watch the stream. They just haven't made that all available yet. But Tom Morello said he was honored to be asked by Ozzy and Sharon. And so, yeah, I can guarantee you there's going to be a stream link. I just don't know what that's going to be yet. Thank you guys for all of the birthday wishes for Hank. Happy Sweet 16. Michael, I wanted to talk about that today as well. Thank you for the reminder on that. Let me go back a little bit. So there was some sad news today in the Pike family. You guys know from all of his parody songs, you know him from his days at WAAF, his later years doing noon to 4 in the afternoon on the Pike on Saturdays. But a radio legend, Bob Rivers, passed away today. He was on the final shows of WAAF. We were so honored to have Bob and Zip come into the studio. And I was so honored that when I got hired on the Pike, that Bob and Zip wanted me to come on their show to kind of promote the fact that I was joining them on the Pike. And so it was really sad that that Bob Rivers passed away today. Like, he was only 68 years old. They're having a private service on the East Coast, and then they're planning on having a big public memorial in Seattle where he was on the air for 25 years. So a really sad thing. Bob Rivers he's in the Broadcasters Hall of Fame for a reason. He was a vanguard when it came to radio, morning radio. So it was really sad. We knew that he was sick. We knew that he was battling cancer, but he was really, really close with a lot of the people at the Pike. And so it was just really, really sad news that Bob Rivers passed away. So I did want to talk about that. Thank you for the reminder. So yeah, there's going to be a streaming option for this Back to the Beginning show with all of the massive bands. We just don't have the details on it yet. Iron Maiden announced that they're releasing a 50th anniversary book later this year. Steve Harris is writing the foreword. Bruce Dickinson's writing the afterword. It's going to have everything from like stage props, wardrobe, album artwork, previously never before seen photographs of the band. So if you're an Iron Maiden fan, there is a big, big book that's coming out later this year. Let's see. Eric says, Bob Rivers' 12 Pains of Christmas is a staple song in our home. Yeah, that's what I mean. You may not have ever heard Bob and Zip on the radio, but you know Bob Rivers' songs because every radio station plays them, especially the holiday songs around Christmas. For sure. Jessica says, I'm so sorry to hear about Bob Rivers. Did he have any family? Yes, he was married. He had 2 sons. He's got grandkids. The online tributes are all over the place online right now. So yes, he had a very loving family. He was surrounded by them. It just sucks because he was such a great guy. Just a sweet, funny guy. And Bob and Zip are just legendary. All right, one of the other things we got to talk about, Volbeat announced their massive tour. So I got to tell you about those tickets that are going on sale this Friday. And also, if you are looking for things to binge, Paramount Plus announced over 50 MTV Unplugged episodes. There's also like dozens of VH1 Storytellers episodes and CMT Crossroad episodes that are all up on Paramount Plus right now. So if you have Paramount Plus, there is so much music content on Paramount Plus right now, just a ton of stuff to watch. I believe that's also where the Yacht Rock documentary is that I was talking to you guys about last week in the War Room. So if you're a music fan, there's tons of stuff up there. All right, shows coming to the Garden. Disturbed's tour is on Friday with 3 Days Grace and Seven Dust. Deftones coming up fast on April 8th. Ghost, those tickets are on sale. That is going to be the Skeletor tour on July 21st. Introducing Papa Perpetua the Fifth. They also have a new album coming out. There's a lot going on with Ghost. So that show's July 21st. Linkin Park on August 1st. Shinedown, Bush, and Morgan Wade on July 19th. There's also Nine Inch Nails on August 29th and Eric Clapton on September 16th. So tons of shows coming to the Garden. Tons of rock shows coming to the Garden. Silver Scream Con is going to be at the DCU Center coming up in September. The big horror, gore, and metal festival is September 12th through the 14th. Those tickets are on sale now. If you're a fan of Sleep Token, they have been hinting that there is a new album coming. It's like the worst kept secret in rock and metal. But a bunch of venues around the country started hinting that Sleep Token was coming. And one of the 7 rumored venues for Sleep Token to be playing is the DCU Center in Worcester. So a big announcement on Sleep Token is coming. And it sounds like they played the Palladium last year. I went with Danielle. And now it looks like they're going to jump from the Palladium across the street to the DCU Center, which is absolutely huge for Sleep Token. Hello, Wednesday. Did you come back to say hi? Did you come back to say hi? What are you doing? Oh, here comes your sister. Here comes your sister. What are you doing? Are you afraid Wednesday's getting something that you're not getting? Or were you waiting to see if it's mail call yet? Because it's not mail call yet. I know you want it to be mail call, but it's not mail call yet. Can I boop your nose? Boop. Can I boop your nose? Boop. Thank you. All right? You're being so good, though. It's because you're so sleepy. You ran around in the yard. Found some weird poop from some strange rando animal that was out there. I was like, I don't know what that is, but you're getting away from it. It was very strange. Right? You guys are being so good. All right, so DCU Center Sleep Token. I think it's going to happen. We just don't know when the announcement's coming, but it's coming soon. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all of the shows that are getting announced because there's a ton of them. Okay, so Sleep Token's the big rumor for the DCU Center. Kim Dracula is going to be at Big Night Live coming up on Friday night. So Dropkick Murphys are playing Friday night in Boston. Kim Dracula's playing. The Disturbed show is at the Garden. Friday in Boston is going to be an insane day for just drunk rock and metal fans to be staggering around the city. The Xfinity Center this summer in Mansfield, Simple Minds, Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick, The Offspring, Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory. That show went on sale last Friday. This goes on sale this Friday. Massive tour. Volbeat, Hailstorm, and The Ghost Inside on August 14th. August 12th, they're going to be in Bangor, Maine. August 13th, they're going to be at the SNHU Arena. Or no, not the SNHU Arena, the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire. So 3 massive Volbeat shows coming to New England with Hailstorm and The Ghost Inside. All of those shows go on sale this Friday. Doobie Brothers, August 15th. Billy Idol and Joan Jett, August 23rd. And the Rise of the Roach tour with Papa Roach, Rise Against, and Under Oath on September 14th. Is Heart still touring? As a matter of fact, they are. So Dream Theater is going to be in town on Saturday at the Wang. Heart is going to be at Foxwoods on the 12th of April and at the Aganis on the 13th. Ann Wilson says, please stop worrying about her being in a wheelchair. It's not from the cancer treatments last year. It's because she fell down in the parking lot and hurt her leg. She said, I'm an effing klutz. So Ann Wilson is fine. AC/DC at Gillette on May 4th with the Pretty Reckless. Alice Cooper at Mohegan on May 23rd. Post Malone and Jelly Roll at Gillette on May 31st. Clutch at the Lynn Auditorium on June 12th. Sleep Theory at the Sinclair in Cambridge on June 19th. Weird Al's going to be at the Wang and at Foxwoods. Incubus at Mohegan. Def Leppard at Mohegan. Coldplay at Gillette for 2 shows. Tons and tons and tons of shows. I just saw that longtime friend of the show, Tim Montana, is going to be down at the Webster Theater in Hartford coming up in May. So there are so many shows getting announced. You got to keep your eyes on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Speaking of yacht rock, Toto, Christopher Cross, and Men at Work, July 26th at the Leader Bank Pavilion. The Goo Goo Dolls, July 29th. Chicago's going to be there on August 2nd. Sleep Token in the arena or over at the convention center in the arena. That's the rumor that Sleep Token's going to play the arena, which means they think they can sell it out. And showing how big that band has gotten just virally, they're probably going to sell it out. But the rumor is Sleep Token is playing the DCU Center. It's just not announced yet. My Chemical Romance at Fenway on the 7th of September with Idols. The Lumineers on July 18th. And let's see, a few more shows. Hey, Jen. She goes, how goes it? Eric says, she said Wang. Every week I say Wang. Will you just get over it? Pantera is there as well. That's right. Did I not say Pantera at the Xfinity Center? I got to put that up there. The Palladium, The Plot in You, Memphis Mayfire, and Mushroom Head all headed to the Palladium, and more shows getting announced all the time. Bish wants to know if I'm getting Lizzie Hale back on the show around those dates with Volbeat. I can almost guarantee it. She loves coming on the show. Friday, what are you doing? That's a mirror. That's you. Friday just scared the shit out of herself looking at herself in the mirror. Are you okay? That's you. That's your face. Did you scare yourself? Yeah, I think you did. Roadrunner in Boston has got Poison the Well, Ministry, Jet, and Dinosaur Jr. coming through the summer. Are you okay? Come here. Did you scare yourself? Are you okay? Are you making pug noises for everybody to hear? Huh? Were you scared? You've jumped back really far. Are you all right? You're going to have lipstick on your face if you keep letting me kiss you. Are you making pug noises? Are you done? Do you want me to keep holding you? Because we have to talk about the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. The Dropkicks are going to be there starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats Wednesday. Please don't get wrapped up in the microphone cord. Thank you. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats coming up at the end of the month on the 28th and 29th. Spirit Box on the 19th of April. Devo, Trivium Bullet for My Valentine, Queens of the Stone Age, with The Kills, by the way. They got added to the show. Pixies in July, Alabama Shakes in September. You okay? Yeah. Now Wednesday's getting jealous. The dogs are very clingy today. They just want to lay in your lap and nap after all that running around. Right? House of Blues. So the Dropkicks for the 6th year in a row are going to be live streaming St. Patrick's Day on Veeps. Live from the House of Blues this year. Poppy is going to be there. She was just on Jimmy Kimmel Live last night. Awesome. Also, The Used, Machine Head, Marilyn Manson, and Less Than Jake, all going to be at the House of Blues. Jen says, just got out of the hospital, but I'm good. Eric says, Lizzie is a beautiful woman. Totally agree. And a total badass. Jessica says, Jelly Roll looks amazing. His wife is so beautiful. Agree on both counts. Bish says, pug snorts. Yeah, that's like a constant noise in my house. Paradise Rock Club, Quicksand, the Linda Lindas, Melvins, and Napalm Death. The Paradise is going to be very busy this year as well. City Winery Boston, we talked about it already. The next Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch is happening on March 22nd with the Stone Temple Posers. So get your tickets now. Just go on to the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com and get your tickets before they're gone. The brunch is delicious. The music is always great. I'm going to be there as well. New release is coming out on Friday. The new Coheed and Cambria, the new Dorothy, the new Envy of None featuring Alex Lifeson from Rush, Giovanni and the Hired Guns' new album Quitter, the Goo Goo Dolls celebrating 30 years of A Boy Named Goo, Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes celebrating the 25th anniversary of Live at the Greek, Ozzy's box set See You on the Other Side version 2.0, Roger Waters celebrating the Dark Side of the Moon Redux. Don't forget, Record Store Day is coming up on April 12th. Hundreds of releases are coming out on collectible vinyl. You can just go to recordstoreday.com to get a list of all the artists and the participating record stores. Is Devo... Jason wants to know, is Devo an old band or are they new? There's only one Devo. The Whip It Devo. Hey, what are you doing? Don't scratch at that. Get away from there. There's only one Devo. It's always only been one Devo. It's the same Devo. Rachel says, Coheed. Pugs snoring are so adorable. Yeah, well, it's a lot of loud snoring all of the time, for sure. Dropkicks lost me as a fan with how political they are now. Bish, they're a punk band. Their lyrics have always been political. They just don't align with your politics anymore. Please tell me you saw that viral video of Kenny Casey calling out the guy in the MAGA shirt, saying, I will give you $100 at a Dropkick Murphys t-shirt if that MAGA shirt was made in the United States. They sent a guy out from the Dropkick's crew, and he's like, made in Nicaragua. So he took the shirt off, and Kenny gave him a free Dropkick Murphys shirt because the Dropkicks have always only sold merchandise that's made in the United States. And so Kenny even said it in that video, like, I don't care if you don't like us anymore because we're political. We've always been political and we're sticking with the working man and we're sticking with the unions. And if you don't like us because of that, we don't need you. So punk music is literally a genre of music that came from political unrest and anxiety and like everything from like fuck the queen to like, that's what punk music is. So you can't say you're a fan of punk music and say they're too political because punk bands by definition are political, which is why Green Day's so political because they're a punk band. They're a pop punk band, but they started as a punk band. So they just maybe don't align with your politics now, but punk is not a genre of music that you say shut up and play because it's literally why it exists is because of the strong political views. It's literally woven. When you go to the Punk Museum in Vegas, it's all over the place. The posters, all of that stuff. Look at the Clash. Like, of course it's political. Tracy says Kenny Casey for the win. The video's hilarious and has gone around TikTok and Instagram Reels. It's got millions of hits because he was like, look, if your shirt's made in the United States, he goes, I will give you this Dropkick Murphy shirt and $100 out of my pocket right now. And all the MAGA stuff that because the guy wore all MAGA stuff and he went and stood in the front row at the Dropkick Murphy show because he knows the band is political. And so the guy was trying to make a point and Kenny was like, no problem, bro. Is your stuff made in America? No? Okay, then. You just lost your argument. And the guy was super cool about it. He took his shirt off, put the Dropkick shirt on. Like, it just shows the power of music, but really, really funny. You got to give it to Kenny because he just doesn't give a fuck. He just does not give a fuck, which is hilarious. Okay. First of all, mail call. So, no mail call this week. We had a lot of mail call last week when we were in MCHQ. So I'm sorry, Wednesday. I'm sorry, Friday. There's no mail call this week. You're just going to have to be good napping on the green couch over here because there's no mail call. Website and store. You guys know the store is still open. It's still full of stuff, but we haven't launched anything new yet. I'm still waiting. I gotta call the guys at Vader about the drumsticks. That's my fault because I just didn't follow up because everything just was happening around the holidays. Bish says, I guess being a conservative never aligned with punk. Not even close, dude. The whole genre of music is not conservative at all. But and you don't notice it, but go and read the lyrics. And I think that's like the way with a lot of music, right? Is that like when people say things like, stop being political, just sing, rock and roll stemmed from the voice of the working man, the voice of the oppressed. Like the blues came from mistreatment and struggle. Go and listen to the unbelievable music in the 60s. That was all politically motivated music, even if you didn't realize it. But you go and read the lyrics, all of that stuff is politically based. So when the bands are like, you just want me to shut up and sing, like read the lyrics. And bands, and even with new bands, go read the lyrics of a band like Gojira, who are like super like environmentalists. Go and read the lyrics of Rise Against. Like bands like that have always been political. You just might not realize it, but it's all in the lyrics. It's always been in the lyrics. Let's see. Michael says, oh my God, the Bruins just scored. It's 3-2. Can we cheers to the Rat? I can't believe they traded him. Like, cannot believe they traded him to the Rat. Just brutal, 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 brutal. All right, let's see. If you do not have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass yet, you got to get one on Patreon. We do monthly exclusive live streams. We got to get it scheduled for this month. I let you know who's going to be on the podcast so you can send in your questions. When I travel, I take you with me. You get early access to event information, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. So right now, Backstage Pass holders have access to Spirit Box tickets. You have access to Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine tickets, and access to see Ghost at the Garden. So if you don't have a Backstage Pass yet, get one. I'm taking you backstage on Friday night at the Disturbed show, so be looking for photos, videos, all of that stuff on the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. You can go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or just hit the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. Just a reminder of all the places you can find me on social. All of these links are on the website. And of course, all of the apps and radio stations that you can hear me every weekday on the radio. The list is growing. The icons are getting smaller because the list is growing, which I'm super excited about. So thank you guys so much for listening. No matter what station you're listening to, I really appreciate it. Thank you for streaming the station. If you're not in the listening area, thank you for downloading the apps. Thank you for subscribing to all of the social media outlets that are out there. There are a ton of them. I do want to put a plug in for this event that's happening to benefit Project New Hope. It's happening. Rockin' for Vets is doing the Hometown Rock Show with the James Montgomery Band. It's happening at the Vernon Hill American Legion Post 435. And this is up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But the guys from Project New Hope reached out because they're like, we've still got tickets. So if you are looking for something to do, you want to support veterans, it is happening Saturday, March. Hold on, I can't read that font. The lights are in my eyes here. Hold on. I just put this up on the website, so it is definitely up there. March 29th at Post 435, the James Montgomery Band. It's a benefit for Project New Hope, and the tickets are on sale now. So just go to mistresscarrie.com. It's also posted on the Veterans Rock group that I have on Facebook. There's more than 2,500 of you now, and the group is growing every week. There's more people that are joining. It's a free group on Facebook. If you're looking for it, just search Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock. It'll come up. It's a great place to advertise resources for veterans, events that benefit veterans. If you're a veteran-owned business, if you're a business looking to hire veterans, if you got a veteran in the family, or if you just want to support our nation's veterans, this is a place for everybody to get together and just talk about veterans things. It's not a place to talk about music. It's not a place to talk about foot fetishes. People try to do that stuff too, and they always get deleted and kicked out. But this is a place to just talk about veterans, to share veterans events, veterans info. And this event is up there with the link to get tickets. And you can also, I am going to make this big one more time to give you a chance, if you want to get tickets, to scan that QR code right there. So if you want to get tickets, You can buy them online. The show starts at 7:30. There's also pre-show wine and cheese, a meet and greet. But all you got to do is that QR code right there. Just scan that QR code and get your tickets. But I really want to help them sell this show out because, like I said, all of the money is going to Project New Hope, which is an amazing organization. All right. That's it, guys. Believe it or not, 307 episodes and 5 years later. I can't fathom that it's been 5 years, that I've been sitting in the same spot on the couch, most episodes, not all, and that we've been talking about life together for 5 years and counting. So you guys made it happen. You guys are amazing. To the OG family that have been here since episode 1, yes, you can go to mistresscarrie.com and go to the first episode. Every episode of The War Room is up on the website. Every episode of The War Room is up on YouTube. It's crazy to go back and watch those old episodes and see how drunk I got on the internet. I lost you on Facebook, says Lou. That's very strange. Let's see. Lou says James Montgomery Band is great. They are fantastic. Yes, we're 5 years older. I know. So before we go tonight, guys, cheers to you guys. Happy 5th anniversary. I will see you guys next week. I'm sorry we're not having a big get together on Friday, but I need to go and watch Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Seven Dust. It's a moral imperative. It has to happen. So cheers to you guys for an amazing 5 years. Here's to 5 more. The dogs are asleep. So I'll see you guys next week.